Okay, let me try to unpack this wild WNBA controversy because, honestly, everything about this situation feels like a masterclass in how sports, race, and social media collide in the most uncomfortable ways. So, Chicago's DiJonai Carrington gets ejected for a brutal fall on Indiana's Sophie Cunningham and then immediately posts white privilege on social media. Meanwhile, Cunningham, a player already neck-deep in the transgender athlete debate, claims this has nothing to do with race.
Aha.
Let me tell you why that's impossible to swallow. Context. First off, let's dissect the foul itself. Cunningham's laying the ball up, Carrington swipes at the ball, and her arm catches Cunningham's head.
Hard.
The ref calls a flagrant 2, which, yeah, makes sense, it was unnecessary contact. But here's what fascinates me. Cunningham immediately confronts Carrington, and Carrington's social media reaction drops like a bomb. White privilege. Tagging the fever. Key idea. Now, I'm not saying this was premeditated, but why would a player in the heat of the moment pivot to a racialized critique of their opponent? That's not just a bad call, rant. That's a statement about systemic power dynamics. Cunningham brushes it off, saying, "Last year I did the same thing and got kicked out." But wait, if she's using herself as the benchmark, isn't she assuming equal treatment? Which, honestly, is the whole point of Carrington's post. Commentary. This isn't just about a foul. It's about who gets labeled aggressive versus passionate, who's seen as out of control versus competitive. Women's sports already walk this razor's edge between physicality and policing bodies. Add race into the mix? It's a tinderbox. Now, Cunningham's recent history with trans athlete comments? Oh, that matters. Bigger picture. She's become a lightning rod for culture war debates, which means her critics are already primed to question her motives. When she says this isn't about race, a chunk of the audience hears, "I don't want to acknowledge systemic bias." Meanwhile, Carrington's post, whether calculated or impulsive, forces everyone to confront uncomfortable truths about how race shapes perceptions in sports. The coach's reactions? Marsh says he needs to get back to you on Carrington's post. Classic deflection. Fever's coach says Carrington didn't intend to hit Cunningham's neck. But intent versus impact, another racial flashpoint. Perspective. Refs justify Cunningham's aggressive reaction because the severity of contact warranted it. Translation. She had a right to be furious. But if a black player reacts strongly to a physical foul, does that narrative hold? Or does it flip to uncontrolled emotion? Let's zoom out. This isn't the first time a WNBA player's social media has exploded post-game. But the timing of Carrington's post, immediately after ejection, feels like a deliberate act of resistance. Speculation. Was it catharsis?
A calculated critique?
Either way, it exposed a nerve. And Cunningham's insistence that there's no beef. Please. The fact that Carrington felt the need to name race suggests otherwise. Final thought. Sports are supposed to be an escape, but moments like this prove they're a mirror. Closing. How do leagues address systemic bias when every foul, every tweet, every he said/she said becomes a battleground? And if you're a fan, do you root for accountability or just better PR? Let me know what you think, because this isn't going away.